The Color Purple. An American story for the whole world. It's about life. It's about love. It's about us. You will always remember, Mr. Shug. Old Mister. Nettie. Harple. Squeak. Sophia. And Seeley. You will never forget The Color Purple.
Hey guys, welcome to week 21, I think it is, in the Real DVD Watchers, and this week I'm going to be reviewing The Color Purple. This is a 1985, I believe, Steven Spielberg directed film that is based on the Pulitzer Prize winning novel by Alice Walker of the same name, The Color Purple. And it basically tells the story of this young African-American girl named Seeley, who's played by Whoopi Goldberg in this film, who made her feature film debut in this movie. And basically tells the story of her life and the problems she's facing as an African-American woman during the early 1900s, in this case being racism, sexual discrimination, and poverty. The film basically tells the story of her character from a young, early adolescence, I believe you'd call it, and how she's given up for marriage to this man who's referred to as Mr. by Seeley, by her father, and prior to this she had had two children, both who, I don't believe the circumstances in which she came to become pregnant is explained, but after giving birth to these two children on separate occasions, of course, her father gives them away, and then after she is, of course, sent to Mr.'s wife, and Mr. is played by Danny Glover, and he's basically this very abusive husband. He hits her, he demeans her, he demands respect from her in the sense that she is the woman who basically, obviously in the earliest senses of those times, is property to him. And throughout the course of the film, Seeley grows older and encounters these characters, particularly two characters, one by the name of Sophia, who's played by Oprah Winfrey, and another named Shug Avery, who's played by Margaret Avery. Sophia is a very strong, powerful woman who doesn't take the type of crap from men, or anybody really, that Seeley does from Mr. And not just with men, she will even confront women, white women, which in the times, of course, is very dangerous. She has this very strong confidence, sort of take no bullshit from anybody attitude. And Shug Avery is a character who has a previous history with Mr., and she basically helps to build that sort of confidence in Seeley to help her become more open and very happier, like a much more livelier individual. And the combination between these two characters that she encounters really helps to build her confidence over the course of the film. Yeah, and this film has some, I just want to say that the film has a great look to it, not in terms of the style of how it's shot or edited or put together, I just mean the production value, the sets, the locations. It's a very good looking film, I found. Very down to earth, very real. The score is one of only two films directed by Spielberg in which John Williams did not do the score for this film. It was done by Quincy Jones, and he did a great job, I think. The score is not one of the most memorable things out there, but it's got there's this recurring theme to it that's actually very memorable, well, not like iconic, but you know, it stuck with me for quite some time after watching the movie. It's very simple, it's very touching, really, and I really have no faults about the score. One of the things that this film, I think, gets accused of is sort of watering down a lot of stuff. And then, of course, for the rest of the film, there's also just the fact that it doesn't necessarily depict the physical abuse, the sexual discrimination in a very out there kind of way, if you get what I mean. It's not graphically depicting it, if you can get what I'm saying. And I can see why some people might complain about that, but the film is not about that. It's not about depicting the physical abuse, the mental anguish that these women would go through during these times. It's a part of the story, but another part of the story is the fact that these character grows through this. So I think if this was just another film to say, let's look at how women were treated back in this time, particularly black women, then I would say, yeah, you could have really, gone a bit further with that. But that's not solely what it's about. It's about how these women rose through this these treatments. One of the other things is his great performances in this film. And if I go to Celie, played by Whoopi Goldberg, who, as I mentioned, made her feature film debut. She won a Golden Globe, I believe, for this performance. And what's great about this performance is it's so simple and so calm. The character of Celie is very shy and unconfident in herself, and she's very reserved. Like she just kind of she sort of shells herself, like covers herself in this shell, and you really see it in Whoopi Goldberg's performance. Just the way her mannerisms are, the fact that not just the fact that the character doesn't say much, just the way how she doesn't look at people when she's talking. You can really get the sense that she's been through a lot that makes her just not become comfortable around people. So in that sense, the performance in itself and the character of Celie really just sells the fact that she has been through a lot of crap in her life, even if it's not graphically depicted in the movie. And I think, to be honest, I think the fact that the film is kind of lighthearted, and it is actually about friendship as well, not just the evils of those times, I think had it being graphically depicted to whatever film you want to compare it to, it would have taken away from a lot of the other elements of the film that make it great, which would be, as I mentioned before, the friendship themes. There's a lot of great chemistry between Whoopi Goldberg and, what was her name again, Margaret Avery, because those two characters click the most, I believe, and they become friends, and through, as I mentioned before, they learn from each other, and there's some humor in there, in that friendship. There's little moments where you chuckle. There's little tender, sweet moments that I think would have been maybe hurt. Like the sweet and innocent sort of tone of the film would have been hurt if it had been more graphically depicted. The more serious stuff. Danny Glover, who plays Mr., as I mentioned before, does a really great performance. I think you really get the sense of hatred towards his character because of the way he treats everyone. I think what I like about this film is that there are so many colorful characters in this movie. Whoopi Goldberg, as I mentioned, is the shy character who grows to become confident. You have Sophia, played by Oprah Winfrey, who's this tough, take no bullshit from anyone woman. You have Margaret Avery, playing Shug Avery as this singer that's very lively, this very full of energy woman. You have, of course, Mr., this angry, abusive husband. You have this character named Harpole, who's this goofy kind of guy. You just have these so many different characters who mix together and in their own way are really great. If I had one complaint about the film, is that there are moments where you can see that they're trying to go for some comedic laughs. At best I chuckled or got a little smirk at them, but they kind of fall flat and don't feel like they really belong in the film. But other than that, it's not the greatest film ever made, but it is a very touching, kind of sweet film. Another complaint I hear is that it's very anti-male and makes men look bad, and this is just a very woman-y film. I have to say that while it's not it's not made for men to not be able to watch, it is for women, because, as I mentioned before, the whole point of the movie is to show the depiction of how women were treated in those times. That's not to say that it's anti-male and that males can't enjoy it, as I said. In fact, to be honest, the nature of the film, anybody who's faced discrimination, or anyone who's ever been kind of beat down before in their life, which I think either one or the other, or maybe even both, I think we've all experienced for our own different reasons and our own circumstances. Those types of people could relate to this movie, and it's a very empowering movie. I don't want to reveal too much, but Whoopi Goldberg's character really grows, and there's a great scene near the end of the film where you get to see her finally just stand up for herself, and that's just great. And anyone who really has sort of gone through situations where they haven't really felt good about themselves, I think can watch this movie and feel some sort of sense of empowerment by the end of it. So that's my review for The Color Purple. I hope you enjoy it. It's a great movie. It's not a masterpiece per se, but it's very borderline. I think it's a really great movie, and I'm going to give it like an 8 out of 10. So I'll see you guys next week for my review. Thanks for watching, and bye.